I have a friend from Florida. I also have a client in Florida, but anyway,
Oh, okay.
but I had a friend in Florida as well. It was beautiful where she lived. She was like living on one of those little islands off Florida.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That
she's
must have
from a
been
very wealthy
beautiful.
background. Yeah. Mm.
Wow.
I lived in Germany with her, but that's where she was from.
I wish I was her. She was living off an island in Florida.
Show me photos, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks.
Yeah. I
But
love the beach.
regardless, Florida does look pretty nice. So, yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy your time there. Are you going with mum and dad and your family, or?
Yeah. So I'm going with my grandma and my aunt and her son and wife and kid. So yeah, my family pretty much.
Yeah, okay, beautiful, nice. Well, I really hope you enjoy some downtime and relax from all of the stress that school can be. And trust me, I've
Yeah.
been there, so I get it.
Yeah,
Um,
I like to read on the beach, so I'm excited to read on the shoreline. So
you sound exactly like me. That's literally what I do in my spare time. I have like two books right here, but yeah, at the beach,
yeah,
I'll just be lying down. If I'm not surfing, I'm lying down reading my book, literally. So
yeah.
that's
When I
right.
moved back, I
Yeah.
had I the amount of books I have bought while I was like in college, I came back with a whole huge bag full of just books to read. And I probably finished only like one or two of them, and I'm still reading like the rest of the 20 I have. So I'm like, I need to finish them.
Yeah.
That is my goal. I need to finish them. So
I'm
I'm
sure you
putting it on
will if
my
you've got
way.
nothing else to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in my spare time, I'm always reading if I'm not doing something active. So I feel like you were
Yeah.
so similar to me. I didn't know that. Taking me by surprise. Most girls sit on
Yeah.
and just scroll through their phone.
Yeah. I don't really like that, to be honest. So I try to stay off my phone as much as I can.
Yeah, I'm the exact same because I'm always on devices for work. So whenever I don't need to be on them, I'm like, okay, put that
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Already lost a lot of weight. And I know there's still more to lose, but let's get clear on like what you're looking to achieve in the near future as well. So it's what I kind of wanted to chat about. Does that all sound good to you?
Yes.
What's your problem or the problems that you had before you started working with me? Do you remember?
So yeah, I had very high blood pressure to the point where I felt like I was literally gonna pass out. I remember me getting up like just out of my bed. If I get up too fast, I feel like I'm gonna faint. Um, but I realized that I went to go get some blood work done at the doctors that I usually go to, and they found out that not only is my blood pressure high, but my cholesterol is very high, like so dangerous. It was very dangerous. So they pretty much said it's because of my diet, pretty much. So they ran a test to check how much I guess stickiness, you want to call it, around my heart. So they make sure there's no blood clots that's probably gonna happen or may happen in the future. My heart is fine. The test came up 0. There's no problems with my heart. It was that came that the conclusion was it was mainly my diet that's causing my cholesterol to spike like that. So they told me that I need to fix my diet and exercise and do all this. So after they told me that, I told my manager at work, and she used to be a peds nurse. She went to medical school and everything. She does everything. I love her. So she helped me get a diet straight for me, and the diet was like so it was kind of so harsh at first. Like it was like eating salmon with broccoli and rice, and I have to drink this much water, and the steps she made me do 10K, but now it's like now it's like a habit right now. But the diet was like so harsh, especially with me flipping my diet just like that. It was really hard, very hard. Like I was eating tuna. Um, I hate tuna. I hate tuna. So eating that was like terrible and I wanted to throw up. But it was mainly fish and chicken that I ate. Um, and then she just kind of stopped helping me. I don't know what her reason was, but she just kind of stopped. So I went back to my old habits again. Was I was like eating a lot and I was in school, so like eating fast food and stuff like that. And then is when you me and you got in contact is when it happened. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably the best time right now to change the way I am and how I feel and stuff like that. And the results of that is insane already. And it hasn't even, it's been a month. It's been a month, a little over a month. And that it's just crazy. It's
Mm.
very crazy. Like I didn't even see results like this when I had this diet plan that I was using earlier. And it's insane, like saying she's like making me work out and eat salmon and stuff like that. And I saw like none results. And here I am eating a McDonald's cheeseburger for lunch and seeing these results. It's insane. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing weight kilo drop as well. Let me bring it up because I honestly it's hard to keep track of any like the things in my mind. Let's bring it up. But that's the whole thing, that's what I was telling you on the call that we had was that if it doesn't suit the foods that you like or your lifestyle, you're not gonna get the results. That's why
Yeah.
it didn't work in the first place. Like you said, tuna makes you throw up and you were trying to eat it.
Yeah, it was awful and I hated it so bad.
That would have felt so self-pressurizing as well. And then so
Yeah.
kind of demonizing when you couldn't stick to it. But it's just because it wasn't suited towards what you liked. Plus, you had built habits for years, not just
Mhm.
months. And then to conflict it straight away like that and flip it inside out, back to
It's
front,
hard.
essentially, that is no one, not even I could do that. Like, no. um, yeah, so in terms of kilos, what was it? 8409 was the kilos. Can't remember what that is in pounds. Um,
I can pull it up on my phone and see
yeah,
what it is in pounds.
yeah. 76 point, oh, new low, 76.64. Well done.
Yeah, so it's one from March 21st, it's 185 pounds, and the most recent weighing I did was April 30th is 168.61 pounds. That's a lot.
It's a hell of a lot of weight. Yeah, 100% for sure. And you actually like the nutrition plan, like you actually enjoy
Yeah.
it.
No, like I when I saw the meal plan and saw like McDonald's hamburger, I'm like, there's no way. And I was actually telling my family about it because they're expecting something drastic like it was last time. And when I was reading it off to them, they're like, you can drink Dr. Pepper and eat a hamburger. I said, yes, I can actually. So,
Yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what works. That's what I like go on about all the time because you're not the first woman to come to me either that has tried XYZ in the past and couldn't stick to it. And then they just
mm,
become frustrated and feel let down that they can't change something that they so desperately want to change.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, amazing result. That's yeah, just over a month, 7.45 kilos. It's great. Really good. Happy. Um, I do want to ask, is there something that you liked the most so far? with working with me, like something that stood out?
Um, Probably the constant, it's not it's not like you're pushing kind of, it's more like you're helping me push myself because like during workouts, I'm constantly trying to get that weight up and see how much I can do and feel the burn because I love feeling the burn. Like it hurts so bad, but it feels so good at the same time. Um, so it's the motivation that you give out, like not only to me, but like when you post some of the messages that we send you, it's constantly motivation, constantly. And that's the one thing I like because I didn't have that the last time I tried to have my diet. So having motivation for not only from myself, but from you keeps on making me push forward to my goal. So that's what I really like right now. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. But also, that's the whole point, especially with not feeling like you're doing it on your own either. Like when you see other people's, like even just their mini milestones or something that is different to you, but it's still a win for them. Like, because then you feel like you're not doing it on your own. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
absolutely having that motivation for someone to like kick your butt or say well done when you genuinely deserve a well done, then yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah. Um, and you, was it right? Am I right that Portia, oh yeah, she mentioned me to you. That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, when me and her used to work together at Subway,
mm,
um, she would always come in like with these oats she always had something that looked delicious always. And she did mention you to me, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow her on Instagram and see what else she has because I know she has more clients than just you. So I saw one of the clients, she had a body built like me, and the change in her body was insane. I'm like, okay, this is legit. Like she can take a client like me that's built like myself and change it like that. So I didn't reach out at first because I'm like, do I want this right now? Like I don't know what I'm expecting. And then you reached out to me and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, awesome. Which client was that, if you don't mind me asking? Do you remember what
I'm
it looked
I'm not sure what her name was, honestly. I can try and find it,
like?
or you may find it later, it doesn't matter.
Is it? It's hard for me to. Yeah, it's hard for me to know. There's a lot of people that have transformed. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's sounding egotistical, but yeah.
it's been
Like,
a hot minute.
yeah,
Might be scrolling for a minute.
yeah, yeah. Um, cool. And out of curiosity, because you said, oh, you wanted to like wait around and just because you weren't sure if it was gonna be probably the right thing for you, let alone like the
Mhm.
right time in your life to make a change. And it is scary because like there's that doubt and uncertainty there. You don't know. And you already had a
Yeah,
negative experience previously. Um, but was there something that was stopping you from starting sooner than you did?
probably because I didn't want to give up my old habits because it like to be honest, it is a lot of work not to just go back to my old habits right now. But it's taken a lot. But knowing like what my end goal is and how my health is getting a lot better actually. I can even explain to you how healthy that I'm getting because of I would go into detail on that later, but um yeah, the reason why I didn't want to give up my old habits just yet. And then when you contacted me, I'm a religious person, so I always take signs like that and I feel like when you reached out to me. I'm like, okay, this is a sign that I need to get on the right track. So I took it.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting that you say that. I don't really expose it on the internet because it's very like some people aren't, some people are. But yeah, I'm religious
Yeah.
myself actually. So yeah, it's funny sometimes things they happen and you're just like, oh, that couldn't have been at a better time, or you're just like, oh, of
Yeah.
course. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta accept it and go to it. Yeah. Um, cool. And again, is there anything just out of self-criticism for me as well? Um, is there anything that you liked about the coach, like the coaching? Because at the end of the day, it's like a service, right? Is there anything that you liked about, the way I operate or the service in particular, anything like that?
So workout wise, I like when I push myself and do a different weights. It at the end of the workout, it's like you did like 9 personal best and then it sends out in the cows group and feels pretty good when that sends out after I get done. But it's also it shows how much volume as well and stuff like that. So it's going in very details of how much you're doing. And I really like that. I really like looking at uh those numbers and see how much I'm doing. Plus it saves s- if I can talk, it saves the old weights I did from the beginning so I can see how far I've come in workouts alone. And like I said, your motivation is very good, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But yeah, it's actually when we drop the extra, because we still got, you've come a far way, great. But it's definitely is like further weight drop that we want to achieve. But then once
Mhm,
we get there, we can really build up that lean muscle mass tissue even more. Because you will notice, you probably have already noticed, it is a bit easier to work out when you don't have so much weight to carry around. Have you
mhm.
noticed that?
Yeah, I actually have.
Yeah. So my reason for pointing that out is because it tracks your weights, yes, which is great because when you start to lose more weight, you will notice your fitness improve and it not feel even as tiring to work out because you're not carrying around the extra weight. But
Mhm,
regardless, with progressive overload, that's essentially a word for consistently pushing your body with load so that it's forced to adapt and change. So that's the importance of being able to track your weights so that, because otherwise you're guessing, like you're just sitting on the machine, you're like, oh, I think I did that last time, whatever. If you
mhm.
do the same weights for 2 months straight, nothing's going to change.
Right.
Like it's the basic laws of science. There has to be some sort of like force or load expressed for something to change. Without force, there is no reaction, some sort of quote like that. But it's the same with training. So that's awesome. And I've noticed your weights go up as well. And the girls love seeing everyone's PBs. They're like, oh fuck, I need to
Yeah.
get a PB today.
Yeah, so I used to work out a lot in high school. In high school, I was in marching band and I also played tennis. So, fitness was a main thing in those two sports. Um, so we had a class at high school where you basically just go to the gym and work out with a bunch of girls. So I took that class my junior year of high school and it was every day, every single day. And I got fit. I got very fit. Like when we did maxing, my max squat was like 250 and my bench press was 130. Like I was I was I was fit. So um so my first workout with you, of course, it's been since then since I worked out. And I'm like, I bet I can do the weights I could do in high school. And I was wrong. I had to go back down and I have to work back up to those weights. So it's and last time I did upper body, I think I was doing the curls at like 20 pounds, and it was really hard the first time, but after I did 20 for a minute, it was getting easier, so I bumped up my weight to 30, and I re at Planet Fitness, there's, like, these little tabs where, like, you can add plus 5 pounds or plus 2, what do y'all go by? Kilos?
Kilos, but I know what you're saying. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I put it on 30 and lifted up, it was so hard. I'm like, dude, there has to be something wrong. And it was flipped up to plus 5 pounds. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, that's why. So I had to put it back down. And it felt much, much better.
yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Well, as I said, like it will take time, but you will definitely up your weights more with time if you keep going the way that you're going. But the difference, I'll educate you now with reference to muscle mass versus fat mass loss. Fat, to lose fat, it's hard, don't get me wrong. But to build muscle, that also takes time. So it's not just gonna like, just because you lose a kilo of fat doesn't mean you're gonna gain a kilo of muscle at the same time.
Right.
Lean muscle mass is a little bit slower in its trajectory. Sorry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. But keep pushing it, see how much you can, basically make your body sore within the workout. And over time, it will
Yeah.
be forced to adapt and react, and it will recover better and better and better because your eating and your nutrition is going to support that. And that's something I'm going to get into in a sec. I really want
Okay.
to get crystal clear on what you want to achieve in the near future because I know that we still got weight to drop, but you're going to get there if you keep going the way that you're going.
Right.
Like you can't deny that. You've been very consistent. Um, but before I ask that and get into that, is just out of curiosity, if you were going to, let's just say your friend was struggling and you were like going to recommend me to your best friend, what would you kind of say?
Um, I wouldn't I would say that you're a great personal trainer, but I would mostly show her the results I had with you and show her like all the motivational stuff you have and mostly show her the progression pictures you post online. Because that's what targeted me was I drew to that. Um, so I think showing my best friend photos of myself and other women actually, um, and seeing the motivational messages, your videos you post, because not only are you giving us workouts, but you're also educating us with like nutrition and even birth control and hormones and stuff like that. So it's not like you're giving us workouts and then coming back every once in a while just to give us more workouts, but you're actually here. We can text you whenever we want something. So that's what I would tell her. I wouldn't tell her much. I would pretty much show her everything you have, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's the best way to go about it is, I guess, showing people because especially if you're visual, like I'm really visual. Like if you
Yeah.
tell me something through my ear, I'm probably not going to remember it. But if you text it to me or I read a diagram, like I'm going to remember it and actually absorb it. So you might be like me in that respect.
Yeah.
Um,
That is me,
yeah.
actually.
Okay, so we're similar
Yeah.
with the way we learn and the beach and the books. Cool.
Yes. At my work, I bake a lot. Like I make cinnamon rolls, I make tea bread. I bake a lot. So when my manager was teaching me, she had to learn like what's the best way to teach me like speaking. And she came to find out I'm a more of a visual learner because one time she was just telling me how to fix this, and this, and it's like going one ear out the other. And I'm like, I'm so lost right now. Just show me, and I will remember it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's literally me. I learned that at uni because, yeah, the lecturers, I realized that I wasn't learning or absorbing any information till they actually put a diagram behind them. when they just stood there and talked, I like got lost. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Now I want to get you talking a bit in terms of the near future. What are you wanting to achieve? Because you come a fair way. Definitely still more to go, but
Yeah. Probably I would like to see some abs on me. That would be pretty nice. But I do want to see, I haven't really noticed changes in my face, really. I just want to get all this baby fat off my face.
Mhm.
Um, my weight, I'm not concerned about my weight now since I'm dropping like crazy. Um, I do need to go get my blood work done again and see if my cholesterol is at a normal rate. That's a I need to do that. I need a schedule. But my blood pressure has been normal, actually. It's just my cholesterol I have to worry about. I check my blood pressure almost on a regular basis to make sure it's on normal and not spiking or whatever. Normally, when it does spike, I usually notice because I'm usually lightheaded and something like that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much all right now since I pretty much all the goals that I had the first time, I'm almost knocked out. So I just my baby face.
Baby face, abs. You want to check your cholesterol. It's not really a goal. That's
Yeah.
just something you need to do. Yeah, I have a goal weight for you, which you're very close to hitting. I don't know if you noticed, but I could put it at the top.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
of the weights section. Or actually, if you open the app itself right now, if you click on at the bottom, there's like a kettlebell. Next to that is a circle with a star inside of it. If you
Yeah.
click that, you'll see the goals.
Oh, okay.
So there's a goal weight there for you, believe it or not,
Okay.
which you're pretty close to hitting. Pretty close.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, awesome. And in the, just so you know, in the future, when we get to a certain, like a really healthy weight where we want to start building some lean muscle mass to bring out your abs, for example, and just be essentially the fittest, healthiest version of yourself, because it's not a good idea to be skinny fat either. Like that's what happens
Yeah.
when people don't work out and lift weights. So I'm glad you're already doing that. We will adapt your nutrition again, just so you know. But again, it will include the foods that you enjoy. It will still probably include a lot of the things that are already there, but it will also include some other things that you still enjoy. But it, we got to change it at some point because
Yeah.
yeah, no need to yet, but once we hit a certain weight and we're like, okay, she's dropped a lot of fat, great, but we need to increase her muscle mass here and support that. And also what I help people with as well is because you never want to cut out bad food, like ever, ever. That's just a silly idea because you're gonna
Mhm.
go to someone's wedding, have functions, go on a date, if you just eat bodybuilder, boring vegan food, whatever you want to call it, it's just not sustainable. But we will include some more wholesome, base meals because I'll tell you right now, Jordyn, what happens with the women I've worked with once have dropped like a significant amount of weight, and then they always turn around, always. And this is why people stay longer than they're meant to. One of the reasons is they're like, I just want to be the fittest, healthiest version of me. And they want to get more into the weightlifting and they want to really tone up those areas. And I say, yeah, cool. Let's incorporate some more like balanced meals. We'll still include those unhealthy foods. Maybe we'll even add some ice cream in there or whatever. Because
Mhm.
once you lose that weight and you start training really hard, you're going to end up burning more in your exercise than you are now because it's easier for you to work out and you're actually healthier. So you can lift more weight and push yourself even more. So then we start to learn what everyone wants at the end of the day, which is the sustainable, balanced approach to food, which is where we can have a Macca's burger, sorry, whatever you call it, Dr. Pepper, whatever it is, but also like I don't know, for example, a burrito bowl or something that's more wholesome based as well. So it's actually usually includes more food than what you've got now. But you don't get fat, you just get more lean muscle mass as a result. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm assuming that's gonna like meats. It's like you can get certain meats that have like a lean percentage on them. Is that
Mhm.
what you're talking about? Is those?
Yeah, I just mean like a yes, but also just balanced meals. So ones that have
Okay.
carbs, proteins, fats, carbs, proteins, fats. Missing something. Oh, micronutrients as well. So bit of color in there, but also those cravings, like those foods that you like. So more balanced meals because like a cheeseburger, yeah, it has carbs and protein and fats in it, but it
Mhm.
doesn't really have many micronutrients, and they're
Yeah.
not quality carbohydrates or quality protein or quality this, and that's fine because it's what is going to work for you because you built that habit for years. But yeah,
Mhm.
eventually we'll incorporate the Macca's burger and, for example, I don't know, some sort of balanced meal, whatever I could think of that you would enjoy still.
Okay.
Even like spaghetti bolognese, like that's wholesome. We can make that in a wholesome way that still tastes great. I don't know if you like spaghetti bolognese, but that's an example.
I have no idea what that is, to be honest. So,
Really? Spaghetti with like meat in it? Yeah.
oh, like spaghetti and meatballs, pretty
Yeah, there
much.
you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Spaghetti
Yeah,
meatballs.
that
Yeah.
yeah. That's what we call it here, spaghetti and meatballs. Well, at least that's what I call it. So,
What did I just call it?
I don't know. It was like sounded like something in another
Spaghetti
language. I'm like,
bolognese. Oh, yeah.
yeah, that sounds
Bolognese is
fancy.
essentially the meatballs broken down because
Uh,
Australians are lazy and they can't be bothered to make them into meatballs.
hmm.
Interesting. Very interesting culture. But yeah, that's just an example. So with the goals that you want, like reduce the baby fat, get your abs out. Getting the abs out, you have to lose a lot of fat. You have to be healthily lean, but you also have to build the tissue so that it, accentuates that even more. And to get rid of the baby face, we can still eat those unhealthy foods, but incorporate more wholesome foods as well, so that
Mhm.
we're not holding so much water or sodium in our body, because all of those unhealthy foods are pretty high in sodium and things like that. So yeah, I just wanted to give you the response now so you're like, the road ahead. Yeah, which is exciting, and I'm excited for
Yeah,
you.
it is.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to mention or talk about while you got me?
Well, I did stop taking my birth control.
Oh,
And yeah, so I stopped it Wednesday when we had that lesson, and I am now starting to spot, which I'm assuming is normal when you stop birth control. So yeah, yeah. So it's a process.
that's awesome news.
Definitely.
I'm really happy to hear that. But yeah, your premenstrual symptoms, like they might come back. They probably won't come back as strong because you're healthier now, as in you're not as overweight. But at the same time, when people come off the pill, if they've been on it for a while, those symptoms can be severe, and then it's something that they have to work through holistically.
Yeah.
Do you have the Flow app on your phone?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so make sure you track that and you're tracking the symptoms, even if you're not on your period now. But I would track that symptom of spotting and stuff so that if
Okay.
you do experience pain or you do experience cramping, I have that data myself because I
Hmm.
understand more in depth than what's just spotting looks like, so that I
Yeah.
can basically predict what would happen next cycle to tell you, yeah, train or don't train, do this, eat that, have this, whatever, so that we can predict the next period and make sure it's more pleasant, essentially.
Yeah.
So make sure you track those additional symptoms. Is
Okay.
Well, I'm super happy with where you're at. I really am. I know that you're capable though of a lot more in terms of weight loss. So just keep doing what you're doing. And once we get to that really that point that you're probably gonna like be like, I never thought I'd get there, which you will if you stay consistent. I can assure you of that pretty much. Then, you know, we're going to go up and beyond because we may as well. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants to be the happiest and the healthiest version of them. And that is truly reflected into every other area of your life. But if you have things that you value in your life too, you want to be your best version for that person or your work or whatever else it is. So it really is like, in my opinion, at least, it's the most self-developmental skill that you could ever do is actually developing yourself, because I think the society that we're brought up in is like a little bit external, like develop yourself with your career and develop yourselves with a relationship and your finances or whatever. Cool. And those things are great. But sometimes we forget about ourselves. And that's why coaching can help people so much.